50 years. You better walk up in here believing it's going to get better today, because you don't serve a God that bandages issues. You serve a God that heals them. Well, here's the thing. Watch this. Blew my mind. 12 years, doctor to doctor, trying one thing after the next. She finds herself in the crowd. But the irony of the text is that she's not in the crowd. You ready? Because she was looking for Jesus. That's not why she's there, Felicia. She's not there to look for him. Watch this. Can I show you something? Because she's a Samaritan. And most people don't know she's a Samaritan, which means she should have never been in the crowd. So she wasn't in the crowd to look for him because she wasn't supposed to be there. Which means, watch this, she doesn't come to Jesus because she's looking. She comes to Jesus because she stumbles into him. All right. Let me help you, because I thought we would have been on our face. Watch this. Watch this. She couldn't strategize her success because her identity told her you don't even have a right to a strategy. Which means she couldn't even strategize her healing. The only way she would ever get healed was by stumbling upon it. All right. The word for some of us is that we've been trying to plan our success, and when we plan it and it doesn't go our way, we walk away because our failure got the best of us. Catch it? But here goes a woman who's been planning her success, catch this, for 12 long years, but every time she tries her plan, watch, she fails. Because every day she walks out the door, she goes sees Dr. X, he can't heal her. She goes sees nurse practitioner Y, she can't heal her. She goes sees Dr. Y, he can't heal her. Next week, she goes, tries to get healed, guess what? She fails. Next month, tries to get healed, what happens? She fails. Month after that, tries to get healed, she fails. Year after that, what happened? She fails. Catch this. But she didn't allow her history of failure to keep her from trying one more time. She was so committed, interesting, to what she heard about Jesus that she didn't even have a relationship with him, but she was willing to give him a shot. Interesting. Hold up. That's the word. She didn't have a relationship. She only heard. Sean, which means that she wasn't living on evidence. She was living on a rumor. And I wonder how many of us got to God not because you knew he'd heal you, not because you knew he'd fix it, not because you could trust him. You just heard a rumor from grandmama, he'll make a way out of no way. And since you trusted the rumor, you came and gave him a shot. See, I wonder how many of us are living on a rumor. See, if you could be honest, some of y'all scared say, I came to Riverside on a rumor because I heard they encountered God. I came to God on a rumor because I heard he do what he said he do. See, when you get mature in the faith, you can say, no, I'm not living on evidence. I'm living on a rumor. Because guess what? The rumor means that she had to be willing to listen to people who had already taken the risk. Missed it. Watch this. Mr. Pam, I said she was Samaritan, which means she was only able from Monday to Friday to talk to Samaritans, which means she only able to talk to people who weren't able to see Jesus, which means she had to get her information from people who were already living on rumors themselves, because they didn't even have access to the things she wanted access to because they never gave access to somebody who would look like them, which means that she was only able to trust the word of somebody who was able to trust the word of somebody who was able to trust the word, who was able to trust the word. And that's why we have the faith we have today, because I trusted mama, mama trusted grandmama, grandmama trusted great-grandmama, great-grandmama trusted great-great-grandmama, great-great-grandmama trusted great-great-great-grandmama, and all of us are trusting God today because we are living on somebody else's rumor that God can do 12 years. But in the Greek, 12 is not there. 12 years is not in the original text, which means she's been living with an issue for X number of years. Why would the writers pick 12? It hit me because Hebrew numerology kicks in. I feel like teaching right there. 7, we shout because it's the number of perfection. Fine. But the thrust is not in the 7. 7 plus 5 equals 12. 5 is the number, are you ready? Do you know? Of grace. Which means she's been living with an issue for so long that she's only lived with it until grace perfected it. Which means she had to live with the thing until the thing taught her what it was supposed to teach her. Which means if she would have lived with it for 11, she would have missed something that was waiting for her in year 12. Which means she couldn't meet Jesus in 11, more or less, because she would have met a Jesus who was not able to perfect her because she wouldn't have gotten everything she was supposed to get from the issue. Catch it? Which means the reason God let her suffer for 12 is because he knew there was grace in 12 that she couldn't encounter in 11. And I wonder how many of you have been trying to rush to some healings because you thought God should have did it a long time ago. But God showed back up and looked at you and said, no, the reason your marriage is not working right now is because there's grace next year that don't exist this year. The reason you can't get the promotion is because there's grace next year that doesn't work this year. The reason you can't get off the job is because there's grace next year that works this year. Catch it? Stop rushing me. And I wonder how many of us are crumbling in spaces because you thought the space was there for your destruction. God says no, 7 plus 5. The space was there to perfect the grace in the space. And so I got to keep you in the space until grace does its work. And once grace does its work, I'll get you out the space. But until then, be patient. I'm done. I think, watch this. She doesn't just stumble into him because there's a crowd, which means she stumbles into him in a crowd. The crowd are the same people who told her 12 years ago, you got to get out. Which means her healing is in her ability to walk past people who told her she couldn't get healed. Catch it? The crowd is a word in Greek that literally means catch-all, which means the crowd has everybody in the city, which means the Pharisees and scribes, let me give it to you in a better way, the church leaders who told her you can't worship here in the crowd. The boss who kicked her out because he said, I don't want to see you bleeding on the job in the crowd. The husband who said, you're bleeding too much for me to sleep with you anymore because you have now been deemed unclean and I cannot sleep with a woman who's unclean in the crowd. And I think that the husband could have possibly been in the crowd with somebody new because the husband had 3 years to remarry, which means he was in the crowd with his new woman. In the crowd, y'all gonna have to shout, but that's the Bible. What's interesting is that in the crowd are her kids who said, Mama, I love you, but I can't be with you because you are unclean. In the crowd are the people who told her that you could be better if you would have only kept yourself clean, but now that you're unclean, I can't hang out with you anymore. But here's what she does. Even though they are in the crowd, I love this. They're in the crowd. But here's what she does. You ready? She says, the reason I can ignore all of y'all is because what I realize is that I'm not here, excuse me, to see any of y'all. I'm here because I need to stumble upon this dude named Jesus. And even if I got to push my way through people who didn't want me to be healed because they thought that my healing was outside of the scope of what I deserve to be, I'm willing to push my way through because what I determined is that I'm not here to see any of y'all, but I'm only here to see Jesus. And I wonder how many of you could be healed if you learned how to walk past the people who didn't like you anyway and just say, baby, I wasn't here to see you. I was always here to see Jesus. So whether you shout, whether you like me, whether you speak, whether you pray for me, I ain't got time no way because I ain't here for you. I'm here for Jesus. And